Have you ever just felt like there's some kind of hidden pattern to the universe? A secret blueprint that connects everything, the stars, the forest, even the thoughts firing inside your own head. Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on a design that shows up at every single scale of existence and what it all means for our own consciousness. It's a huge question, right? But the answer, well, it's surprisingly simple, and it points to something really profound about how reality actually works. If you look closely, and I mean really closely, from the biggest things you can imagine down to the microscopically small, you start to see the same fundamental design popping up over and over again. And that blueprint is the network. Think of it as a web of interconnected points, all sharing information and resources. And here's the thing, this isn't just a cool metaphor, it's a structural reality. This design is resilient, it's adaptive, and, it seems to be the universe's favorite way to organize itself. And this pattern is literally everywhere. In the absolute vastness of space, dark matter arranges itself into these enormous cosmic webs. Inside our own heads, billions of neural connections create this incredibly intricate network of thought. And right beneath our feet, the mycelial network of fungus acts like a biological internet. Each one of them, from the cosmos to the ground, is echoing the exact same design. So here's the paradox, isn't it? If we are fundamentally part of this huge, interconnected web, why does life so often feel like the total opposite? Why did so many of us feel trapped, isolated, like we're just living a life that isn't really ours? Well, the sources we've looked into suggest that this feeling, it's not an accident. This right here is a provocative idea. What if the systems we all live in, our societies, what if they aren't actually set up to help us thrive as unique individuals? This point of view suggests that maybe they're designed for compliance, to make us predictable, easy to manage cogs in a much bigger machine. And according to this idea, that programming starts really early. Our education system can feel more like a tool for teaching obedience than for sparking critical thought. Language gives us all these labels, success, failure, good, bad, that chain our self-worth to what other people think. Then, media comes along and just floods our attention with constant noise, so we never get a quiet moment for deep reflection. And finally, the economy forces most of us to trade our precious time for money, which just creates this endless cycle of dependency. So, what's the end result of all this? It creates this invisible script, a subconscious program that's running in the background, shaping our beliefs, telling us what to want, and guiding our decisions, all without us even realizing it. We think we're making free choices, but maybe we're just running code that got installed in us years ago. So if we're running on somebody else's program, how do we start writing our own? Well, the answer, weirdly enough, might come from looking at nature's original network. It's fascinating how deeply connected we are to fungi. I mean, look at this. We share the basics. We both breathe oxygen, we both get energy from external food. In fact, we share over 50% of our DNA with them. We're a lot more like mushrooms than you might think. And this quote from mycologist Paul Stamets is key. The mycelium, that underground network, it isn't just a passive system. It's intelligent. It's constantly navigating a complex, dangerous world, defending itself, communicating, adapting. It's basically a living, breathing immune system, a tiny pharmaceutical factory creating whatever it needs to survive and thrive. And all this leads to a pretty profound realization. The mycelial network really is the Earth's internet. It's this decentralized, information-sharing web that's been around for hundreds of millions of years. It's a model of intelligence and resilience that was here long, long before we were. Now, this is where it gets really incredible. The science we've been digging into shows that the way mycelium works is almost a perfect mirror of how a healthy human brain works. We're finding that certain mushroom compounds can actually promote neurogenesis. That's the growth of new brain cells. They boost neuroplasticity, which is just the brain's amazing ability to rewire itself and learn. The whole network structure is a masterclass in resilience, just like our brains. It is a perfect biological model for the mind. Okay, so if our mind works like a biological network, and if we've been running on a script installed by society, then the next question is a pretty powerful one, isn't it? Can we become the programmer? Can we actually rewrite our own mental code? One approach that gets talked about is something called neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP. It was developed by basically modeling the patterns of really successful communicators. The core idea is that if you change your language and your thought patterns, you can directly influence your brain's programming and because of that, change your behavior.
A classic technique in NLP is called reframing. It's actually a simple but really powerful process. You start by noticing a negative belief you have, like, I always fail at new things. Then you actively change its context. You shift its meaning. So instead of failure, maybe it's just data collection. You find the positive spin. Every attempt teaches me something valuable. The whole goal is to create a major shift in how you see things, which then changes how you feel and act.
But it's absolutely crucial to show the full picture here. Our sources also point out that NLP has faced a ton of criticism from the scientific community. Lots of reviews, like the one quoted here, have basically concluded that its core theories just don't have the data to back them up, with some even calling it pseudoscience. So, while some methods are up for debate, other techniques focus less on breaking down language and more on just consciously steering your emotional state. One of those is called priming. It's a daily practice where you intentionally focus on powerful, positive emotions like gratitude or joy. The idea is that if you start your day in that peak state, you're literally priming your brain to be in sync with the results you want to create. So we've taken a pretty wild ride, from the cosmic web all the way to the programming of our own minds, and we've looked at tools for rewriting the code. This brings us to the grand finale, how to go from being just a passive part of the network to becoming the active navigator of your own reality. And this really leads to a powerful conclusion. Your inner world isn't just reacting to what happens outside, it's actively creating it. Your beliefs, your focus, your energy, they are the architects of your experience. Every single thought is a building block, and you're already building your own heaven or hell with them, whether you're conscious of it or not. So how do we actually put this into practice? First, you gotta question the script. Start to become aware of all the beliefs you inherited that you never consciously chose. Second, choose your focus. Your attention is your most valuable currency, so spend it wisely. Third, rewrite your own story. Turn that old limiting belief, like I have to fit in, into something empowering, like my uniqueness is my power. And finally, you have to commit to seeing the world through your own eyes, building your own mental framework, instead of just accepting the default program. And ultimately, this all comes down to one final, powerful question for you. If your mind is truly a programmable network, and it's connected to a universe of infinite potential, the only thing left to decide is what reality will you consciously choose to create with it?